Mr. Chairman, we are recording and we're live on YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to start with the meeting with the notice and whatnot. Mary, I don't know if your hands are free. Maybe if you could give a quick try to one.
Absolutely. I'll just mute myself for the time being.
Okay.
And I'll be right with you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the July 22nd meeting of the Danbury Zoning Board of Appeals, and pursuant to order number 71-7I, section 19C, notice is hereby given that item number 21-30 will be heard. And that's Sarah Cortez, 1 Karen Road. Is there a motion to hear 21-30?
Make a motion to hear 21-30. And
All right. Motion by Mr. Hannah, second by
second.
by Mr. Sibbett. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we've got that on the docket. First order of business is the acceptance of the minutes from July 8th. And there are 3 of us here from that meeting, so we can do that. All 11 pages. Is there someone here that would like to make a motion to accept the minutes of July 8th? Minutes of July 8th.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from July 8th as submitted and then corrected.
Juan, it's Mary.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hannah. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let me just, I guess she's got him on the phone, but in the meantime, let me just let you know how this works. The applicant comes forward and presents their case, hardships and everything from the application. If need be, we can pull a map up on the screen to share. After that, if there's anyone else here to speak in favor, I don't see too many at the moment, they have the opportunity, or if there's anyone here to speak against the application. And then if there is someone who speaks against the application, the applicant has the opportunity to address those concerns. At the end of that point in time, if we have no further questions, we'll close the meeting and go into a voting session. Once the public hearing meeting is closed, we can't have or accept or ask for any further input from the public. The vote is to approve or deny has to be a vote of 4-1. It takes 4 votes to approve an application or whatever the motion may be to approve or deny. So when there are just 4 people, that means it has to be unanimous. So where are we with Juan?
Mr. Chairman, Juan will join the meeting momentarily.
All right.
And may I ask who seconded the motion to accept the minutes, please?
Joe.
Joe, thank you. All right, he'll be signing on
All right.
momentarily.
All right. Vanessa, I'm sure you want to wait for 5 just in case. So.
I'm just going to check to make sure he's not having trouble finding the connection.
Yeah.
Mary, are we set up for screen sharing?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
I am so sorry, everyone.
Okay, well.
Been a long week.
Okay. Yeah, well, it happens. Thank you for being here, Juan, and for bringing your flag again. That's always always appropriate. You may notice I brought one too.
Yes.
Okay, okay, enough said. All right, well, we are up to where we're going to hear from applicant for the property at 1 Karen Road. This is to reduce side yard setbacks, 2 side yards, basically setbacks from 15 to 6 feet. And Ms. Manalda, Vanessa is here. Again, small print. So please go ahead and state your case. If need be, I can in fact, I will put it up and share it, the map of the plot plan that we're talking about here. So.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone. My name is Vanessa Maldonado. I live at 1 Karen Road, and I am here, as the acting chairman has stated, for a variance for our shed. Our property has side yards, so we needed the shed to reduce those setbacks, as he stated, from 15 feet to 6 feet. And this shed will be used to store lawn equipment, snow equipment, tools, things of that nature.
All right. And your hardship is?
It's a corner lot, and it's on a curve.
All right, you may have all seen this map, but if I scroll down, I think we can see, well, Karen Road circles right around from here all the way around to here. So it is 2 front yards, basically. So. All right, so I guess because of that, it's this side over here on the, let me just get back here again. This side over here could be considered rear yard, side yard, whatever. And of course, this is officially a side yard. You'd have to say that. And both are asking for setback of 6 instead of 15 feet. The one question that came to mind to me was this: is it possible to move this shed in this direction a little bit to, if not 15 feet, might be too far, but to lessen what that requirement is, or what you're asking for in terms of the setback?
Possibly. Not sure exactly maybe what you're looking for. I don't know if 7 feet or even 8 feet would suffice.
Well, it's kind of splitting hairs in a way. I mean, but I'm just, we always have to ask or consider the least amount of variance to make it work for you. There probably was some reason why the survey put it there, but I'm just asking. So it would be possible potentially to move it in some way, shape, or form, if that's
Possibly.
something. Okay. All right.
Yes, possibly, yes.
All right.
Is this going to be a permanent structure?
No, it's actually going to sit on top of gravel. So there will be no official foundation with cement or anything of that nature.
Thank you.
No
What,
problem.
what is the shed constructed of? Is it rubber, one of these plastic sheds, wood sheds?
It's actually from a shed company in Bethel. So it would be a vinyl siding for the shed, wood inside, vinyl on the out.
Okay.
You have a septic there in that street? You have
The
a-
septic is in, more towards the front of the property.
Where is it? In the front?
It's more towards the front of the property, yes.
Oh, so you should be able to move the shed down to where that's not bad then.
So a septic is, I don't know if you can see my little
So-
marker here. or
oh,
this
okay.
In the area here. Is that where it is basically?
Sorry, I apologize as I'm on my phone. No, you would actually, have to come down a little. I can't see the entire picture. Are you able to? There we go.
Okay.
There we go. So we're more towards, like, you would just have to move down a little bit, further, like right by where like our little 3 stairs are. So you could even come down a little
Okay.
bit more.
Okay, so it's over in this area down, well, there's the driveway.
No,
there.
no.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
You keep moving around there. Yes.
okay.
Right
All
around where you are.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so kind of opposite corner, basically.
Yes.
From the shed. All right. Okay.
Probably the tank over there, but the fields they have to go across the property.
Yeah. Well, there is some room here.
That's fine. It's far away from the shed.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? For the record, I have to ask anyway, anyone else here to speak in favor of this? Anyone here to speak in opposition? All right, if there's no further questions, is there a motion to close this public hearing?
I make a motion to close 21-30.
All right, motion made by Mr. Hannah and second by,
I'll
Second.
second that motion.
I guess, Michael Sibbett was just a scotch faster. So second by Michael Sibbett, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Excuse me. There's a motion to go into the voting session for the 21-30.
Make a motion to go into voting session for application 21-30.
All right, thank you, Juan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. We have a request for a 6-foot setback on each side. Any other thoughts, opinions on what we want to do with that or a motion?
I mean,
Well, she said, you ask her if she can move it down. Is this
Yeah.
she gonna find out, or she knows she can move it, or what we're supposed to do with it?
I mean, it is possible, and unfortunately, I am not at home right now
Okay,
to see. I will be back home next Monday, but when we originally were taking measurements, that's why I'm thinking, and again, I know he said it was splitting hairs, but that's why I'm thinking at least maybe a foot or 2 would be possible.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I think the public hearing was closed, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Not to
We
mention.
can't have any more comments from the
Yeah.
applicant.
Got ahead of ourselves. Yes, sir. Well, if it's important enough to you, we could, it's closed. It's closed. We have to make a decision one way or the other. To approve or not. I'm inclined to let it go at 6. I was there. It's actually, when you look at the house in comparison to where it is, I think maybe it doesn't look like much room. I think maybe there's some overhanging shrubbery or whatever where that will push back in further, because it's where it was pointed out to me and where we're looking at the map, it doesn't look like a lot of room between that and the corner of the house, not like what the map looks like. So I'm assuming that it's got to push back into the there's hedges on both sides of it.
I make a motion to approve 21-30 Cortez Sarah, 1 Karen Road, RA40 zone, reduce side yard setback from 15 feet to 6 feet to build a shed over the gravel as per plan submitted.
All right, as per plan submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sibbett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you very much. Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Next order of business is old business. This is the voting part of 21-24, James Magner for Lake Road. We had closed that meeting as well, so there's no further public comment allowed or could be determined. However, we did ask for a few more facts that could be gotten from City Hall of documents that are already on file. So, and that's what we did. We probably have all looked them over. I can bring up a couple of things. We can compare the lot, if you saw it, that was approved back in 2019. And then the applicant came in with a lot of additions to that in terms of deck, balcony, etc. We have three options here, basically, which are this. We can approve it as is, everything up, or we can deny it, everything down. And that denial can be with prejudice, which says, don't come back, we don't want to see you again, which was kind of my initial reaction when I went through and looked at this again, but that would not serve any purpose at all. So I would not suggest deny with prejudice. I would suggest, and I have a few items here, and then I'll certainly want to hear from all of you. That meeting as well, so there's no further public comment. I would suggest we can consider denying without prejudice, so that maybe we can have something that comes back that's a little more realistic. My thoughts were this. I made a little list, and this is something that's strictly hypothetical. I mean, understand it. It's strictly hypothetical, but I'm just listing things that might be more palatable to all of us in terms of if and when Mr. Magner comes back with a new application, and if we do deny it without prejudice. And the things that I wrote down are this: the retaining wall. It already, according to a verbal I got from an inspection that Tim Rosati did of that wall, it's already got a crack, a vertical crack, kind of right down the middle of it. I did go and take a look at it, and yes, there's that crack. So that retaining wall needs a full engineered design, and we talked about a stucco facade and whatnot, and Mr. Magner did agree to something like that. The other thought that came to mind on that retaining wall is, instead of two walls, again, an engineer would have to kind of consider this, one wall that is indeed set back 5 feet from the lot line, so that the retaining wall is where it's supposed to be without a variance, and the excavation is where it's supposed to be without a variance. I do find it somewhat curious that with all that was said and done, that was put there right up to the lot line, knowing full well that was not something that could be done without a variance. The other part of anything being engineered, in my mind, would be the drainage. We talked about that and how to do that. Some sort of retention. I mean, retention pond is not possible there. It would be a retention puddle. There's just not enough room there. But if there's some kind of engineered design for the retention of that, I would certainly like to see that as far as the drainage and the runoff goes. And as far as the drainage itself, again, I have no idea about how to solve that. I mean, when it was a green embankment, at least it gave some amount of opportunity to absorb or slow down. Now that there's nowhere for the water to go, again, I'm not an engineer. How to do that, I don't know, but I would like to see some engineer's best effort to come up with a design where that water can be addressed. And while we're talking the drainage, another thing that I had written down is there seems to be a great deal of confusion amongst the members of the association there. Did they or did they not really approve him being able to drain water on the street? And if and when Mr. Magner comes back, I would certainly like to see a clear decision of whatever the association might be along those lines. The other thing is, we talked about this last time, is if and when Mr. Magner comes back, a construction schedule, a binding document determined and agreed upon by the city and by Mr. Magner as far as how the schedule would go. It sounds like that could be worked out to be a reasonable period of time based on what Mr. Magner said. And I think that's pretty much the things that, again, we're not suggesting here we can't. We don't have another application in front of us where we could, but we're not suggesting that this is anything but a hypothetical if Mr. Magner was to come back, and what would we like to see. Now, please, I want to open this up to everyone else. You probably have thought of some things as well. What are your thoughts on this? And then we need to make a decision on this up or down vote.
I made an on-site yesterday, and I agree with Mr. Moore. There is a crack in the front wall that goes from top to bottom. Also on the side yard part of the wall, I noticed a couple holes in some of the bricks, brick concrete blocks. And going back to the question I had asked during the last meeting, during the meeting, he talked about carrying his wife and mother-in-law or grandmother, whoever that's on an age, carrying them up the stairs and that to get in the house. If they're, in wheelchairs, I think there's got to be some way of getting in and into the house and out of the house other than stairways, because if there was a fire and he was not there to get them out, firemen are not going to know that they can't walk or anything. And by the time they go in and get one and try to go back in and get another one of them is going to perish. So I believe there's safety issues with the design of entering the house.
Okay.
I looked at the plans that were submitted by Mary this week, and I did not see anything different or new. There was no older plans that were able to be found. So again, I have questions still in regards to that side balcony.
One, let me bring it up, unless I'm reading this wrong. Let me just, okay, let's see here. This, that's not the one I want. I want, all right, okay, this is not, there is a map. Maybe it's, let me back up here. There it is. This is the plot plan that was submitted originally by, I guess, approved in 2019. I guess it was submitted by, is his name on here? No, it is, okay, Mr. Magner, yeah, his name is on this map too, but you'll see this one compared to the one he brought to the meeting does not have a balcony. There's a little notation here about a balcony, and it does not have a deck around the front here originally. And then of course it came forward later with one that had all of those things on there. So that gave me some idea as to what the original thoughts were and how it changed. While I'm at it here, you probably looked at this, I'm sure. It says needs a variance here for the balcony, and over here said not to be done at this point in time. I don't know who wrote that or put it in red, but it's pretty clear what was needed to do the extensions on both sides of that house, for what that's worth. So anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead, Juan.
No, but again, I did see that, but then, there is that question, if that was submitted, again, that plan was submitted in 2019, I believe it was. I don't know when.
There's a date on the map of 2019. Yeah, I don't know when it was submitted exactly.
And then compared to the updated one, which was.
That was, let's see.
So I guess the original was submitted in October 11th of 2019. This revision was revised. There's a date here of January 30th, 2020,
Right.
and then another revision of June 15th, 2020.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And the original date, yeah, October 11th, 2009. Yeah.
let me see something here. I mean, your bullet points that you mentioned there, I have some agreement to what you said there, and your concerns and your thoughts. My thing is, again, there's a lot of questions here. I did not see the crack again when I went the second time on the retaining wall, but again, there's a lot of issues here.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else.
I thought what last time in the meeting, he agreed to move that wall.
Yes, I went through the notes and I went through the, let me see.
But I
Yeah,
don't.
because we didn't get a lot of, we got some, well, cooperation, I guess is not the word I want, but we got some sense that he would be willing to do a few things. One of the things is that he would remove that sidewall between his lot and Mr. Durkin's lot,
Right.
to the right side of the house. Although that would create some, again, there's fill in there and that would have to be redone somehow to make that work. Yeah, yes, he agreed to the facade. I made some highlights here. He also agreed to take out that drainage pipe or eliminate it from one of the variances being, according to the minutes here, one of the variances being requested as far as draining on the road. Again, that's, well, that would be one less thing to consider. However, the other part to consider is, again, back to drainage. Where does the water go? And how do we
I don't
make sure
remember
it's dealt with?
if we agreed to put a drainage design system on a property or not. I don't remember.
Well, I know he talked about a Home Depot product, it's 80 or 100 gallon, which would take on a little bit of water, but I don't know that would be quite up to an engineer design. But I mean, there was, the idea was there to do something about it. Yes. Yes.
I was looking at the notes, the correspondence between Mr. Wagner and Tim Rosati. It looks like around the May timeframe is when he was told about the wall, the retaining wall, and the variances that needed to be approved before any of this was done. So again, there's the questions that I have, when exactly this work was stopped, and when the other plans or the revised plan that we got at the beginning of this meeting was submitted compared to the old plan that we got sent this week.
I just brought up the cease and desist order again, and that was dated May 11th, 2020. And as a cease and desist order, you have 10 days to discontinue and or remedy the violations and conditions listed on the premise. So there is, again, if some work was done after that, it was in his right to do that, I guess, in terms of trying to remedy. And it only related to, and Sean, you can correct me if I'm on this, but it said it related to the following conditions: point discharge of storm drainage runoff at the property line, and the bottom edge of the excavation or fill is less than 5 feet from the property. Now, in our discussion, Sean, you had mentioned that when it comes to a cease and desist, the only times it's immediate is if there's an excavation or something that needs to be stopped right away. But anyway, all that to say is the cease and desist itself did not address any of the other violations as far as setbacks and so forth go.
Right. And then, like I said, the plans you're seeing with the comments from Tim on them in red, that was the plan review that was done for the permit. So when the permit was issued, that was the plan review that was done. So what, Juan, you're looking at was the approved plans that the zoning officer approved, okay?
Okay.
Those were in red. Prior to
Okay.
that was a map that Fury submitted in, and that was just basically not to expand the footprint that was approved because of the conditions of the setbacks of the fact that it was only seasonal. And those are older plans, but what Mr. Magner submitted in was basically the same box renovated with the balcony and the porch identified by Mr. Rosati saying, you're not going to do this, right? When Mr. Rosati went out to the site, he issued the cease and desist on the retaining wall, the 5-foot back, and the point discharge.
Okay.
Mr. Magner stated that, hey, you cited that, but I was going to continue doing my work. And then over the course or period of time, the new additions were either put on or not. But Mr. Magner did state that he basically slowed down and stopped everything and waited to readjust with Tim. What we still have was Mr. Rosati did a follow-up inspection. The balcony's there, obviously, and there's some ledger boards, I think, around the back for the proposed porch that was done prior to that. So that's the current condition of the application. But Juan, what you're saying is, yeah, you're looking basically at what Mr. Rosati said. This is what you can do. The fact that him and Mr. Magner went over it and said, don't do this, you need a variance, and it was done, was a little bit that adds, I think, to the commission's angst and saying, okay, what do we do with this? Is this one of this thing was thrown in our lap, and there's a lot of things going on here. I would also recommend that if we're going to go ahead and take any action or reaction to this, the lot needs to be cleared in order to do a proper inspection. I know there's some rear sloughing or movement in the earthworks back there, so I will be contacting Mr. Magner to see if he could knock down the grass back there so I can send an environmental officer out there just to, to shore up the cuts he made. But that's basically, Mr. Chairman, in a nutshell, what I know.
Okay, thank you. And again, that makes it very difficult for me to make a decision on this. I think as well as everyone else on the commission.
It does, but again, we have limited options, and we need to make a decision.
Okay.
Well, if not tonight, we have a clock ticking in terms of a decision as well, which would be to approve it up front, or my suggestion would be to deny it without prejudice, because hopefully that'll allow Mr. Magner to go over and review all of this with the zoning department again. I think I know Mr. Magner's listening in, and that's good. I appreciate that. To consider some of the things that we might or might not consider in approving a revised, a new application at some point. Again, until we have it, until we have the whole picture, there's no commitment one way or the other in terms of what I'm suggesting. And the only thing we can do tonight is approve it or deny it, one or the other. So again, my suggestion to try and keep this moving and make it, I mean, it's a situation that there's nobody that doesn't agree, including Mr. Magner, I'm sure, by far the most interested in seeing this project completed in some way, shape, or form. And there's nobody that doesn't want to see this in the community or on this board or in the city that doesn't want to see this completed to a satisfactory measure of some sort. So my suggestion is to for a motion, someone to make a motion to decline the application, to do it without prejudice, to deny it without prejudice, which sets the clock free. There's no clock, no time frame, no waiting period to come back with a new application if that's what Mr. Magner would want to do. But I'm all ears.
I make a motion to deny 21-24 Magner James 4 Lake Road, RA20 zone, to reduce minimum front yard setback from 30 feet to 27.8 feet. The roof overhang of proposed covered porch, reduce minimum side yard setback from 15 to 8 feet, and to proposed porch reduce minimum side yard setback 15 feet to 8.9, existing balcony, allowed drainage, discharge into the road, reduce bottom edge of excavation from minimum 5 feet to 0 feet for proposed and existing retaining wall. Of course, this is denial without a prejudice. Mr. Magner can come back with a different plan and to negotiate with the city what he can do in previous construction. Because there's too many violations as presented. That's it.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second that motion.
1 second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let the record show that was unanimous. So, yes. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, we're nearing the end of our meeting. There is one additional thing that kind of popped up, and we'll just call it other business. And that's this, corporate counsel is, I guess, polling all the boards and commissions regarding continuing meetings Zoom or doing them in person or doing some sort of hybrid sort of thing. I have a strong opinion about that, but I'll save that. I'll hear yours first. Okay. I think the hybrid issue keeps coming up because it may be a requirement of the state. If we did go back live, that we still need to have some access through Zoom for people who didn't want to come. I don't know. But anyway, corporate counsel wants some sort of just a straw poll vote from all the boards and commissions on what we would like to do going forward in terms of being live or Zoom or something in between.
I think hybrid offers us the flexibility if we need to move in and out of using, digital meetings.
Mhm.
It would be nice for, it wouldn't be nice for the city government to show the community that, we recognize that we're doing a good job being vaccinated. I would probably recommend even if we were in person, the continued use of masks. But my opinion would be a hybrid, which offers us the flexibility to move in and out of using digital sources.
Yeah, there's probably some technical issues, but that's up for the city to figure out. Anyone else? Any thoughts?
I support the hybrid meeting too.
Okay.
I don't have an issue going back with live, but I understand the concerns of other people with the hesitancy of coming back live, maybe not vaccinated. So if I had a choice, it would be live, but if I'm outnumbered, I'm fine with the hybrid as well.
Well, hybrid does provide obviously a live component. So there still would be, assuming we were willing, we would be there in person, and whatever part of the public could be there in person. I definitely am anxious to get back live. I have a feeling most of the engineers and attorneys who come before these boards feel that way as well. I mean, we're in restaurants, we're in stores, or whenever, with or without masks. Who's vaccinated, who isn't? It's a complex issue. But we certainly have plenty of space for most meetings, for sure, in city council chambers to space out for everyone. So I would be very much in favor of live, which may by default become hybrid anyway, depending on the city and the state and what they agree to do. So that's my thought. We've heard from everybody but Michael, I think. You're muted.
I like the Zoom, but if it has to go back to live, so be it.
Okay. All right.
It's
So I
just
guess it's a strong.
more of a hardship for me. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe that would fit into the hybrid plan. I don't know. It's a possibility, I guess. If we're all sitting there with our own little computer in City Hall, I guess you could sit at home with your computer. And if it's snowing outside, I might stay home too. So I don't know. All right. I guess Mary, as far as corporate counsel and what they want to hear, we're a definite maybe about as live as we can get and as hybrid as we can get. How's that? Okay.
I think they should expect that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, Juan making a motion. Second,
Second.
second by, was that Joe?
I'll take the
Yes.
other one.
It was Joe. All right, second by Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Okay.
apologize, everyone, again for being a couple minutes late. Totally
That's
forgot.
all right. We could have
We
been
thought
out
you
here
were-
at, we could have been out of here at 7:35, but thanks to you.
We thought he was hanging out with Joe too much.
Well, yeah, bad
Might be.
influence.
He's
Greg,
rubbing
thank
off
you
on
so
me.
much again.
Good night tonight.